in with them. And there you see on the left-hand side, it is Staxwell, Maxwell, Mitchell, Benji, the piercing win, taking on Novachan on that Azuri list. Benji done a nice job of evening out the life discrepancy thus far. Does have Nova down to 9.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking to sort of Tao Tao's deck real quick, I did talk to a lot of players about what they planned on drafting. Is it anybody forcing anything? The only thing I heard, nobody was going to force Assassin, was that some people were like, I'm not playing Ranger. And I think that it's a mistake.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I think the ceiling for Azalea is the actual highest in the format. And I think we saw it there from Tao Tao's deck. It was absolutely impressive. Now we have to see what Maxwell Mitchell can do here as Benji. Going to go ahead and line up a block. And it looks like the follow-up is going to be a looking for a scrap. So Novachan getting a little wide here. Novachan, I believe, from Hong Kong.
Absolutely, yeah.
Making his way to the States to compete here at Pro Tour Baltimore. Of course, players from all over the world represented this weekend. Love to see the game continue to grow. By the way, we're going to have a packed freaking calling tomorrow. Maybe our biggest one ever. It's in range.
Almost 1,000 people, potentially. I mean, you can feel the sort of energy in the building right now. It's electric. They have the feature match area, or at least the TV for it, set up out there so people can watch. I mean, I can't wait for top 8.
Oh, this place on Sunday is going to be off the chain, absolutely crazy. And I'll tell you, the top 8 environment, it's worth being present for it. I had never seen anything in my now 30 years of TCG gaming like the environment as we wrapped up Worlds out in San Jose. Truly electric atmosphere.
Yep. So a simple 1 for 5 go again, I believe, here from Novachan. Maxwell sort of deciding what card to block with, thinking about, we have no information on the arsenal, what he could potentially come back with. I want to ask you, Brian, when you're building Ninja, me and Tanner, we talked a bit about ratios and getting enough blue 0 costs in order to swing your Kodachis reliably. We'd put that number around 8. I was just wondering if you would be inclined to agree.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I mean, it can vary dramatically on how you're building your Ninja deck. I mean, like, there's obviously like hard combo Katsu. There's just kind of like this blue and yellow Benji. But I do think there are some value builds of Ninja you can do as well. Just looking to find those 4 power breakpoints with things like Seek Horizon, per se. Things like looking for a scrap and using that to go ahead and turn your blues into real offense. That's a very real way to play these ninjas. So it is a little bit contextual. It looks like Maxwell going to take a pretty big hit here, down to 1. That's a dangerous spot to be if you're a Benji, because not a lot of good blocks as ninja players. A lot of 2 blocks on their side.
Feisty locals, if people played in Monarch, which, by the way, will be the next draft format, reminds me of a card called Surging Militia, where you can't really block it. That's why we see Maxwell go down to 1, is because it's so inefficient to block.
Yeah, it's a nightmare to play against. And speaking of nightmares, Harmonized Kodachi, another one players have been dealing with for a long time. Can Staxwell go ahead and present lethal? That's what's critical, is he needs to find a way to go ahead and threaten some cards from Novachan. You do not want to be on 1 life against Azuri. That is the nightmare scenario. You're forced to overblock. You're forced to block those Spider's Bite. And it's really, really hard to get out of that situation.
Yeah, it kind of feels like if Novachan is able to survive this turn, that the game will be very much in his hands.
I think so. And you see carefully debating, how many cards can I afford not to block with? And it is a complicated question against Benji as well, because you have to fear those evasive attacks, things that can really punish you for just letting things through. And it seems like it's going to be, I think that's a back heel kick represented here. So just 4, that is not lethal, but it is still going to get a block here from Novachan. Falls to 3, and now going back to his turn, going to try and find a way to push through lethal. I see a Piece of Mind in hand. Looks like a cut down to size. And it looks like we're just going to go ahead and start with a Spider's Bite. I'm expecting to see Spider's Bite into large attack here. One of many good late game patterns for Azuri that should demand some real cards from Staxwell. Double Spider's Bite. That's even worse.
Takes a card every time.
Yep.
So, I mean, what do you do about it? It's like Kodachi Lock, not quite as efficient, but same kind of deal at this point in the game.
Oh, and the Spring Load to round it out. You cannot ask for a better chain closer than Spring Load, and that's going to go ahead and get not only 2 cards, but a piece of equipment as well. And now Novachan going to be in the same position, come back with 4 cards on this turn versus Staxwell's 4 in hand, no arsenal. So huge threat facing Maxwell Mitchell right now.
So I think the problem is like, okay, Maxwell can potentially play around the Azuri swap, but if he does that, he's just going to end up fatiguing, right? And then we also come in with the weapon beforehand. So Maxwell, I think he might be in a little bit of a lock.
Really hard to get out of this spot. Needs his opponent to really brick. Freewheeling Renegades, not a brick. It's going to demand 2 cards again. And now we're in that loop. We're just 4 cards, 4 cards, 4 cards. Maxwell needs to find a way out of this very dire situation. Novachan heading into this turn with an arsenal now. Things only getting worse for Staxwell. And again, Spider's Bite leads off, demands a card from hand. Spider's Bite again, another card from hand.
The boot equipment potentially threatening a go again as well with lethal damage. I mean, it feels like it's only a matter of time before Novachan is able to draw his way into
I will say, here's a sneak attack with nothing doing thus far in terms of pump, and I think it may be a blue one. So it's possible that Maxwell can get away with a 1-card block here. If that is true, if he does and has the 3 block, a window has opened.
What do you do in that window? Do you keep your blue and swing your Kodachis to take Nova to 1, or do you Arsenal? Because they give you swing your Kodachis, you're not winning the game.
Yeah, I think you just need to go ahead and make a real attack. And it looks like these Fleetfoot Sandals going to be activated on the Spider's Bite attack, pumping the sneak attack and presenting lethal. Sneaky
cheeky
play from Novachan. I will tell you that when we were building this set, I beat James White in a similar fashion across his kitchen table, making basically the exact same play. And you see there that is going to get the fist bump from Maxwell Mitchell. Beautiful understanding of how that time